Hello students, a very good morning to one and all. So today we will start group 16 elements or chalcogens, okay, oxygen family. Today we will discuss group 16 elements, or you can say oxygen family. Oxygen family, okay. Particularly the elements present in group 16 are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. Okay, out of these elements, polonium is radioactive in nature. Radioactive in nature. Okay, such elements are known as chalcogens. Chalcogens means ore forming elements. Ore forming elements. Okay, because such elements mostly found in oxide and sulfide forms. Okay, so mainly metal can be extracted from ores, and these are combined with uh, in the form of ore. Okay, so they exist as sulfides and oxides. Mainly, since these are ore forming in nature, that's why these are known as chalcogens. Okay, let us discuss about their occurrence. Then, regarding occurrence, you know, occurrence regarding occurrence, oxygen found in 21% volume in atmosphere. Okay, and you know, this oxygen is also your one of your essential ingredient found in living matter. Okay, or generally. Next, that is sulfur. Sulfur, you know, it is found in sulfides, mostly sulfides. You know, PBS, that is called galena, HGS, cinnabar, okay, ZNS, zinc blende. Okay, this is your sulfur. Again, sulfur also found in, you know, Epsom salt, CaSO4, 2 water. This is gypsum. Epsom salt, MgSO4, 7 water. These are hydrated sulfates. It also occurs in hydrated sulfate form. Okay. Next, selenium, SeO2. This is called selenite. Okay. So these are occurrences. And polonium, you know, this is radioactive in nature. Polonium, you know, this one is rare earth element. Rare earth element generally found by the decay of thorium. Okay, this is radioactive in nature. Next, we will go through very important, that is general blending property. general trend in their properties. You can say general trend in physical properties. General trend in physical properties. So first one is their general electronic configuration. General electronic configuration. Okay, so particularly they use general electronic configuration, that is NS2 NP4. Okay, having how many electrons? 6 electrons in their valence shell. 6 electrons in their valence shell. Okay, so let us mention their atomic number one by one or successively. Okay, so first one, that is oxygen, having atomic number 8. So after inert gas to helium 2, that will be 2s2 2p4. Okay, then sulfur, you just add 8 over here, then atomic number becomes 16. That will be neon 10 3s2 p4. Okay, next selenium, just add 18 over here, that will be 34. Okay, argon 18, that will be 3d 10 4s2 4p4. Next tellurium, that will be, you add 18 over here, that will be 52. Okay, 18, that will be configuration. Its configuration can be written as krypton 36. Okay, so that will be 4d10 5s2 5p4. Okay, next, that is polonium, radioactive in nature. Just add over 32 over here, 84. So that will be xenon 54. You can write 4f14 5d10 6s2 6p4. So these are their general electronic configuration obeys that NH2 and P4, having 6 electrons in their valence shell. Okay, next. So next trend in property is very common. As usual, we are discussing, that is your atomic size or atomic radius. Atomic radius. Okay. So whenever you move from left to right along a period, then definitely your atomic radius go on decreasing due to increase in nuclear charge. Okay. So that's why the group 16 elements, starting from oxygen to polonium. Okay, so here down the group the atomic size go on increasing because of additional cells, you know. Okay, so atomic radius down the group, atomic size increases due to increase in number of cells. Okay, so this is your atomic radius. Next trend in property, that is your ionization energy. Okay, so ionization energy, the amount of energy required to remove a valence shell electron of a neutral gaseous atom in order to convert it into unipositive cation. Okay, so elements, particularly in oxygen family are highly electronegative in nature. Regarding ionization enthalpy, you can say they have high ionization energy. Okay, so they have high ionization energy. That means they need not want they don't need to lose electrons from their valence. Okay, so that's why they have high ionization energy. Okay, and if you compare, you see along a period, this is group 15, let's say, and this is group 16. Okay, here is oxygen, sulfur, selenium. Okay, oxygen, sulfur, selenium. Okay, next in group 15 there will be nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic. Okay, you see group 16 element having configuration NH2 NP4, but in group 15 that will be NH2 NP3. Okay, if you compare this configuration, nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic having very symmetrical configuration, NH2 NPX1 NPY1 NPZ1. Okay, symmetrical configuration. And you see this p subshell, p orbitals are half filled. Okay, so p subshell is half filled and stable. So removal of electron from nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic is difficult. I mean telling you about fast ionization enthalpy. Here the electron distribution is not symmetrical. NH2, NPX2, NPY1, NPZ1. Okay, this is unsymmetrical. Due to such symmetrical and unsymmetrical distribution of electrons, as you know, from left to right, your ionization energy increases. But here, the fast ionization enthalpy of oxygen, sulfur and selenium is less than that of nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic. Okay, so the fast ionization energy of oxygen, sulfur and selenium are less than nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic. Okay, then it decreases as normally. After selenium it decreases as usual. Okay, but the second ionization enthalpy of oxygen, sulfur and selenium becomes more than nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic. You see, after removal of one electron, this configuration NH2, NPX2, NPY1, NPZ1. Okay, so after first ionization enthalpy, after removing one electron, here will be NPX1. Right now this one becomes half filled and symmetrical. So removal of second electron from these elements becomes difficult. That's why the second ionization enthalpy of oxygen, sulfur and selenium becomes more than that of nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic. Okay, then it decreases down the group. Okay, so this is regarding your ionization energy. Next trend in property, that is your electron negativity. Okay, as you know, from left to right, electron negativity increases. Electron negativity means it is the tendency to attract electron towards the nucleus. Okay, so whenever you move from left to right, nuclear charge increases, and definitely due to decrease in atomic size, electron negativity also increases. And from top to bottom, okay, so from oxygen to polonium, electron negativity decreases down the group. Electron negativity decreases down the group. Why? Because the distance due to increase in size, the distance of valence shell from the nucleus also increases. Okay, so gradually the nuclear charge also decreases down the group. That's why electron negativity decreases down the group due to increase in atomic size. Okay. Next we will discuss electron affinity. Okay, electron affinity. Okay, electron affinity means it is the amount of energy released. Okay, it is the amount of energy released when an extra electron get added to the valence shell of a neutral gaseous atom. Okay, so in electron affinity, since the energy is released, it is always assigned by negative sign, because the energy is released. Okay, so most generally, whenever you move from top to bottom in a particular group, the atomic size increases. Okay, the distance of valence shell from the nucleus also increases. That's why the tendency of nucleus to attract the outermost electrons, that means if an electron is get added to the valence shell, okay, that tendency also decreases from down the group. Okay, so due to decrease in such tendency, decrease in nuclear charge, okay, the electron affinity decreases down the group due to increase in distance of valence shell from the nucleus. Okay, so the extra electron that is coming to added in order to form uninegative anion, okay, that tendency decreases due to since the nuclear influence decreases, so electron affinity also decreases. That's why whenever you move from top to bottom, you are getting most generally the negative electron gain enthalpy value decreases. Okay, but here, so according to this concept, your expectation should be oxygen having more electronegativity, then sulfur, then selenium, then helium, then polonium. The order should be like this. Forget about polonium, this is radioactive in nature. Forget rare earth element. So the order should be like this. Oh, okay. So this should be your expected order. Okay, but the actual order is oxygen having less, then sulfur, then hydrogen. This is the real order or the actual order. Of electron affinity. Why this is? Again the same thing over here. Oxygen atom is most electronegative element in your periodic table. Its electronegativity is 4.0. Highly non-metallic in nature. Okay, highly electronegativity. So due to its smallest size, what happens? You see, this is K cell, L cell. Okay, so here 2 electrons and next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so due to smallest size, what happens? The electronic repulsion arises between inner cell electrons. Due to such electron repulsion, this repulsion, inter-electronic repulsion, never allow the incoming electron to be added at the valence. Okay, so that's why due to such inter-electronic repulsion, the electron affinity of oxygen decreases. Okay, so that is due to more electronegativity and its smaller size. The electrons present in the cells repel to one another. Such repulsive force stand as obstacle in the way of addition of a incoming electron. Okay, that's why its electron affinity decreases, and the order is like this. Okay, then as usual, you know, as the atomic size go on increasing, the distance also increases. So tendency of nucleus to attract the electron also decreases. So this is the order of electron affinity. Clear? Then we will discuss about their physical state. Physical state. Physical state. Okay. Regarding physical state, oxygen atom, oxygen exists as a diatomic molecule. Diatomic molecule. Okay, oxygen exists as a diatomic molecule because you know oxygen having configuration, valence configuration 2s2 to ph2 to py1 to pz1. Okay, so another oxygen atom O8 2s2 to ph2 to py1 to pz1. Okay, so here the two covalent bonds are formed and oxygen exists as a diatomic molecule, that is O2. Okay, so oxygen exists as a diatomic molecule due to its smallest size, due to its smallest size, and has a tendency to form p pi multiple bond. So it's p pi multiple bond. Okay, so due to less van der Waals force of attraction, because you know oxygen is smallest size, exists as a diatomic gas, due to weak van der Waals force of attraction it exists as a in the form of gas. Okay, while other elements, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, all these elements, due to their larger size, they form single covalent bond with themselves and exist as a puckered ring structure, crown ring structure, puckered crown ring structure. Okay, so sulfur, you see, it exists like this, octatomic molecule, like this. Okay, acid molecule, and this tendency decreases from sulfur to tellurium because of increase in atomic size. Okay. Next, catenation. Okay, so catenation means chain formation. Catenation means chain formation. Okay, so out of all the elements present in oxygen family, particularly oxygen and sulfur show the property of catenation. The property of catenation. Okay, so oxygen, due to its smaller size, can exist as, suppose, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide I am doing, HOOH. Okay, sulfur, it exists in the form of H S S S H H S S S S H, like this. Okay, it also exists in sulfuric acid form, SN SO3H SO3H, polysulfuric acid form it also exists. But however, this is stable than compared to this, because oxygen, due to its smallest size, having lone pair of electrons, this lone pair and bond pair repel to each other, so that this bond is very weak. Okay, so better catenation property shown by sulfur, and the rest other elements, due to their larger size, do not exhibit the property of a catenation. Okay. Next, that is multiple bond formation. Multiple bond formation. Okay. So regarding multiple bond formation, oxygen, due to its smallest size, it has tendency to form p pi multiple bonds. Okay. Rest of other elements, due to their large size, they can, and also presence of d orbitals, so they can show d pi p pi multiple bond. Okay, sulfur shows better d pi p pi multiple bond. However, this tendency decreases down the group due to increase in their size. Okay. Next, that is the concept is your melting and boiling point. Melting and boiling point. Okay, so melting and boiling point, you can see it depends upon the atomic size. Okay, whenever you move from oxygen to down the group, okay, then what happens? Due to increase in atomic size, okay, the van der Waals force of attraction also increases. Okay, down the group, due to increase in atomic size, van der Waals force also increases. Okay, so van der Waals force is one type of force of attraction. So if the force of attraction increases, then definitely the melting point or boiling point also increases down the okay. Next, they also exist in allotropic forms. You know, oxygen exists in O2 or O3. Okay, that is your allotropic form. Allotropic form. Okay, so oxygen exist in O2 and O3. These are the allotropic ozone. These are the allotropic forms of oxygen. And sulfur also, you know, monoclinic in nature or orthorhombic. Okay, so in plastic, during the formation of polymers, plastic, it also exists in these forms. Okay, so and polonium, this is, you know, that is a rare earth element. So this is the details of general trending properties of chalcogens or group 16 elements. Okay. Next we will discuss their chemical properties. Chemical properties. Okay. So first one, that is their oxidation state. Okay. So whenever we need to discuss about their oxidation states, So we have to focus their valence shell configuration. Okay, you know their valence shell configuration. Their valence shell configuration, that is NH2 NP4. Okay, so they don't need to lose electrons, rather they eagerly want to accept 2 electrons. By accepting 2 electrons, their configuration can be converted into NH2 NP6. This configuration is stable. Okay, due to this tendency, due to their affinity to accept 2 electrons, in order to get a stable electronic configuration, that is NH2 and NP6. Okay, so mostly they exhibit oxidation state of -2. Oxidation state of -2. So let us see first about oxygen. Oxygen due to its high electronegativity nature, that is 3.5. Okay, due to its high electronegativity nature, it exhibit -2 oxidation state in most of its compounds. However, there are few compounds where its oxidation state varies. Likewise, OF2. Okay, in OF2, the oxidation state of oxygen, that is +2. Okay, in O2F2, the oxidation state of oxygen here, that is +1. Okay, next, all other compounds, it mostly exhibit the oxidation state of -2. Okay, let us discuss about the higher elements. Next, if we consider in case of sulfur, then its configuration is 3s2 3p4, the valence shell configuration. Okay, so if I can write over here, this is 3s2, this is 3p4. Next, 3d also there. This is 3d. Okay, here these 2 electrons it can share. That's why its oxidation state is +2. Or if it accept 2 electrons, then it can be -2. Okay, this is its ground state configuration. In ground state, in fast excited state, so this is 3s. Here will be 2 electrons, 1 2 3, 1 electron from here get excited to any of 3d, 1 2 4 5 over here. So here we are getting how many unpaired electrons? 1 2 3 4. So covalence can be 4. So here oxidation state is +4. Okay, next if I consider the second excited state, here will be 1, okay, this is 3d. Clear? So here how many unpaired electrons you are getting? 1 3 1 1 1. So this is, there is, it exists +6, highest oxidation state. You see, but this oxidation state +4 and +6 cannot be possible in case of oxygen, because there is no 2d. Okay, there is no vacant d orbital in oxygen. Since there is no vacant d orbitals in oxygen, that's why it never exhibit +4 and +6 oxidation state. +4 and +6 oxidation state. Okay, and out of these oxidation states +2, -2, +4 and +6. This +4 is known as the intermediate oxidation state. Okay, the +4 oxidation state, if any of the element from sulfur onwards of this group exhibit +4 oxidation state, okay, +4 oxidation state, any of the element from sulfur other than oxygen, if it exhibit +4 oxidation state, then it act as both oxidizing agent as well as reducing agent. Okay, because if oxidation state is +4, it can increase its oxidation state to +6 by losing electron. Okay, this +4 can be +6 by loss of 2 electrons, and it acts as a reducing agent. Okay, again it acts as an oxidizing agent because it can decrease its oxidation state up to +2 by gaining 2 electrons. And it acts as an oxidizing agent. Okay, this is the beauty of oxidation state. Next, we will discuss their affinity towards hydrogen. Affinity towards hydrogen. Okay, so such elements combine with hydrogen to form hydrides of like EH2. Okay, where this E are the elements of oxygen family. Okay, can be oxygen, can be sulfur, can be selenium. Okay, so the hydrides can be H2, H2S, H2AC, H2T, like this. These are the hydrides. Okay, out of which this one exists as a colorless, odorless liquid. Water, colorless, odorless liquid. It exists as colorless, odorless liquid. While all these are exist in the form of poison gases. Poisonous gases having bad odor. Okay. Next, let us discuss few properties of hydrides. Among all these hydrides, I have told you water exists as a liquid. Why? Water exists as a liquid. Why? Because you know, in water, this oxygen is highly electronegative in nature and smallest size. Therefore, there exists charge separation, delta plus, delta minus. Okay, so there is a dipole-dipole interaction in the form of intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, due to there exists intermolecular hydrogen bonding, hence it is a liquid. Hence it exists as a liquid. Okay, while rest all other elements from other hydrides in this family, the central elements sulfur, selenium, tellurium, due to their large size and less electronegative in nature, the strength of intermolecular hydrogen bonding is not strong. Okay, that's why they exist in the form of what? Yes. Okay. Next, if we consider there few properties of hydrides, first one, that is volatility. Okay, you know, volatility is inversely proportional to the melting point or boiling point. Okay, so H2O, H2S, H2Se, H2T. Okay, these are the hydrates. Whenever you move from oxygen to tellurium, what happens? The size increases. The size of central element increases. So consequently, Van der Waals force also increases, and consequently melting point and boiling point also increases. Okay, so if melting point and boiling point increases, then volatility also decreases down the group. So the order should be what? Now H2O should be more volatile than, H2O should be less volatile than H2S. Then the melting and boiling point increases, so volatility decreases. So H2S is more volatile than H2Se than H2Te. The order should be like this: H2O, H2S, volatility. Okay, volatility decreases down the group. Okay, so in this order, you see the more volatile compound, that is H2O. Okay, in this order, and here this H2Te is less volatile in nature because of large size, van der Waals force will be more, so this will be less volatile. But however, look at here, in case of water, okay, there exist intermolecular hydrogen bonds. HOH. Intermolecular hydrogen bonds are there. Due to high intermolecular force of hydrogen bonding, their melting and boiling point of water is high. Okay, due to high melting and boiling point, since melting and boiling point of water molecules is high due to such associative nature in the form of a intermolecular hydrogen bonding, this water molecule becomes less volatile than compared to H2S. Then it obeys normal tendency. Okay, just remember this much. Next, property, that is their acidic character. Let's say acidic character. So acidic character means tendency to lose proton. Okay, as you know, in case of water molecules, these hydrogens are not free at all. These hydrogen atoms are not free at all. Again, they are associated with intermolecular hydrogen bonds. Okay, that's why water is neutral, or you can say less acidic in nature. So if you move from sulfur to tellurium, then what happens? Due to increase in size, the bond length, He bond length also increases. H2S, S like this, H, Se, H like this, H, Te, H like this. Since their bond length increases, so due to increase in bond length, the release of proton becomes easy. Okay, so acidic strength increases down the group, but in case of water, that is exceptional due to intermolecular hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen atom in water is not free at all, so H2O is less acidic than H2S, which is less acidic. The acidity order will be like this. As you move down the group, the acidic strength increases. Okay, so it follows this trend. Clear? Next, this acidic nature is also similar compare to your reducing nature. Reducing nature means tendency to provide hydrogen. So that will be maximum the hydride present at the bottom. Okay, due to increase in atomic size, the release of proton will be easy. So tendency to reducing other species will be increases. Okay, so reducing nature from top to bottom increases. Reducing nature from top to bottom increases. Tendency to release proton increases due to increase in pH bond length. Okay, so they are reducing property. Next, we will consider bond angle. Okay, bond angle. Bond angle. Okay, so in water you know HOH, in bonding you know, in case of water this oxygen is sp3 hybridized. So if you consider geometry, then basing upon this hybridization, its geometry should be tetrahedral having bond angle 109 degree 28 minutes. Okay, but since there are two lone pair of electrons, due to such lone pair and bond pair repulsion, its shape becomes which shape? V shape or bend shape, and this bond angle HOH bond angle, that is 104.5. Okay, and this bond angle gradually decreases down the group due to increase in the size of central element. Okay. So next we will discuss some oxoacids of sulfur and their structure. Oxoacids of sulfur. First one, that is sulfurous acid. Structure: sulfur, one lone pair, OH, and there is a double bond O. Okay, sulfur plus 6 oxidations at hexavalency 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is called sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid. Okay, next, very popular, that is sulfuric acid. Okay, so its structure can be written as OH, S, double bond O, OH. This one is sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid. Okay, next there is a called porsulfuric acid. Porsulfuric acid. Okay, so its structure, that is OH, S, double bond O, S, double bond O, OH. This is called porsulfuric acid. Porsulfuric acid. Okay, next there is a compound peroxymonosulfuric acid. Okay, OH, S, double bond O, OH. This one is called peroxymonosulfuric acid. Peroxymonosulfuric acid. Then peroxy disulfuric acid will be OH, S, double bond O, S, double bond O, OH. This is called peroxy disulfuric acid. Peroxy disulfuric acid. Okay, so these are few structures of oxoacids of sulfur. Next, it's very important to discuss the anomalous behavior of oxygen from the rest of elements and how it differs from the rest of elements. Okay, that is called anomalous behavior of oxygen. Okay, the behavior of oxygen is quite different from those rest of elements on the basis of it is due to its smallest size, okay, and high electron negativity. Okay, and the next one, that is absence of vacant d orbitals. Absence of vacant d orbitals. How it differs? First of all, okay, so distinction point of view, how it distinct from rest of elements. First one, that is it is the most abundant element of atmosphere. Just I have discussed at the beginning, that is 21% by volume. Okay, it is the second highest electronegative element in the periodic table. First one is fluorine, having 4.0. okay, and oxygen is, due to its high electron negativity, it has most non-metallic character. Okay, next, oxygen exhibit -2 oxidation state. Okay, while the rest elements exhibit +2, +4, +6 oxidation states. Oxygen does not exhibit +4, +6 oxidation state because due to lack of vacant d orbitals. And another one is, in case of hydra acids I have discussed, due to presence of more electronegative oxygen atom, there exists intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, due to which the boiling point of water is more than that of H2S. Okay, so these are few points. And oxygen, it is highly reactive and suddenly reacts with metals to form metal oxides. Okay, due to its high electron negativity, it is highly reactive in nature. Okay, so today's class includes all the things. Okay, so next class we will go through ozone, dioxygen, all the things. Okay, thank you.